Alright, so today's video is going to be on Captain Marvel. Let's go ahead and get into it. Plot for this movie is a 7 flat. The plot for this movie, I'm going to keep it a buck with you. My thoughts on this movie are they wanted to use Captain Marvel in Endgame, and instead of building her up as a character naturally throughout the MCU, they just tried to force her in literally in between Infinity War and Endgame in just a weird way. And then, like, Jude Law just kind of brings a very weird vibe, and like her backstory is very Memento. Like, yuck, weird movie, weird movie. Dialogue 7 flat. Again, they're just explaining her whole situation. They're not really trying to do anything serious. They're just, again, I don't like origin stories in general. I think they're boring. I think just get us to the part where they're like an established character. I don't need to see them become the character. It's very rarely done well. Like, very rarely done well. And this movie doesn't skip it, and they don't skip it for a character they're trying to force in very quick before the next movie. And it's just they do this whole like she's rebelling against like people who have brainwashed her thing, and then on top of that, all the dialogue is explaining the Korean the scrolls, and like just going back through and explaining the history of what we haven't seen, but everybody else kind of knows except for her. Again, it's similar to Memento, but like bad. Um, I got the acting at a 7.5. That's average for my scale. I feel like Brie Larson does an okay job. Jude Law uh, did not do a great job. Samuel L. Jackson did a good job. And outside of that, I don't really know the other actors or actresses. I know Clark Gregg plays Coulson, but I don't. He was barely in the movie. Oh, Middle, something like that. Yeah, no, he didn't do a great job either. As Talos, I've always thought he was bad as Talos. But yeah. Anyway, cinematography. This movie gets a 7.9. Some of the space scenes for Captain Marvel look good. When she's like fighting in space, I feel like they look good. But the scenes where she's just like photon blasting and stuff like that, I feel like that looks a little whack. But like her flying around and stuff like that, keep that up. I like that. Um, anyway, soundtrack. I give the soundtrack an 8.1. It's been a while, so I can't really remember the soundtrack that well. Uh, from what I remember about the movie, that seems a little high, but it's been a while since I've watched this movie. The soundtrack is one of the first things that goes because it's like a temporary memory. Yeah, so I'm gonna trust my former self when I rated that for that to be accurate. I guess it might be. The comedy 8, world building 8, characters 7.5. I think it's just mid as far as characters go. The action I have it at an 8 because again I like some of the flying scenes, and compared to average action movies, I feel like they did a slightly better job than other average action movies. There we go. Yeah, and then the total rating I've got at a 7.1. Um, this movie ultimately, I feel like they didn't try too hard on it, if I'm being honest. I feel like they went about the like story and the lore for Captain Marvel in a pretty boring way. I don't like the whole amnesia plot line of like, oh, they took my memories. Oh, dude, they took my memories. I don't care for that. I want, especially when it's as powerful of a character as it is. I get that's part of like the reason is like, oh well, she's so powerful, we've got to keep her memories from her, or else she'll destroy us. Because in the Marvels, she kind of goes to Hala, I think, and I think that's where the Kree are at is Hala, and she like wrecks shit. But yeah, I don't like it when my main powerful character doesn't really know what's going on. I feel like that takes away from the movie a decent amount. And I'm also not a fan of just putting things back in eras and like time periods, and like dude, like showing the blockbuster, like, oh dude, this is how you date the movie. The movie, there's a blockbuster in the movie. It's like I find stuff like that to be corny. It's like I don't want to be focused on that. I want to be focused on the plot. I want to be focused on the dialogue. And if you do the other things well, then I'll think maybe okay, the blockbuster thing is cool. But when you're not doing the other things well, it feels like you dedicated your attention to the wrong thing. But yeah, anyway, that's my thoughts about this movie. Let me know what you guys thought about the movie Captain Marvel itself and what you thought about my review of the movie. Yeah, anyway, thank you guys for watching and peace.